I want to feed you myself. The color of this strawberry cake is very similar to your eyes. In spring, you always want to eat strawberries picked in the southern lands. Tell me, you like her, don't you? Theodore asked the girl. She was surprised that he remembered such little things. I remember everything about you, Jaina. All right, I have to go now. Take care not to catch a cold. If you need anything, just ring the bell and I'll get back to you, asked the girl Theodore. The man picked up the warm coat lying on the couch and put it over the girl's shoulders. Theo, listen to me. Jaina ran to follow Theodore, but the chain restraining her prevented her from catching up with the man. The chain was stretched tightly. Unable to keep her balance, the girl fell to the floor, banging her knees painfully. Theodore, I promise I will never run away, so let me out of here at least for a little while. Trust me, I'll definitely come back, Jaina promised. No way, you're never leaving this room. Remember, you are here forever, my beloved Jaina. Looking over his shoulder at the girl, Theodore said, Theo, but you promised me that if I do as you say, you will definitely let me out, screamed the girl in desperation. You will spend your whole life with me. I will never, ever let you go. You will live in my castle forever, Theodore promised. And you mean that's the end of the story? But why on earth did this happen? Couldn't you think of an ending more satisfying? Resented Silva. Oh, I wish I was locked in a luxurious room with a handsome protagonist who loves only me and brings me all sorts of goodies in bed. And what didn't the protagonist like? Sounds like the perfect life to me. I can't believe these are the final chapters of a novella. Sometimes I think the creators have lost touch with reality and start making up all sorts of silly things. A message arrived on the girl's phone with the result of her interview. She had once again been turned down for the job. I shouldn't have made fun of the person who interviewed me, but he was late. I couldn't help myself. The girl was indignant. The girl decided not to get upset. She promised herself that tomorrow she would continue her job search. The girl put on her jacket and went to a nearby store to get groceries. Coming out of the store, the girl noticed a promotional poster of a game based on the novel. It was not surprising, because the novella turned out beautiful and earned the love of readers. Many girls fell in love with the obsessive protagonist. The love simulator game allowed you to play for the main character, Jaina. The girl married the protagonist of the great Duke, Theodore Acheron. Due to circumstances, she had to enter into a political marriage with him. Grand Duke Theodore Acheron commanded the lawless, demon-infested northern part of the country of Theronia. He was as ruthless and notorious as his northern territories. Once his political wife Jaina appeared before Theodore, a warm spring breeze began to blow through the man's frozen heart. But if it ended there, the game would be uninteresting. The sweet life of the newlyweds seemed happy at first, but it was ruined by Theo's excessive affection. To win the game, one had to escape Theodore's obsession and achieve a happy ending. There were over 50 bad endings in the game. Let everyone consider the main character's attachment as a flaw, but on the contrary, I like everything very much. I'd like someone to be crazy about me too. The girl clung tightly to the poster. It would be great if I was in a story where the handsome protagonist was obsessed with me. If I lived in that novella, I'd be happy. Returning home, the girl saw a cute gray cat. Come here. You must be hungry? I bought a lot of different kinds of food. There's sure to be something in this bag for you, too, screamed the girl. The cat ran towards the girl. Suddenly, a car jumped out from around the corner and ran straight at the cat. The girl ran to the cat to save it. Suddenly, the headlights blinded her. There are times in life when no matter what you do, everything falls out of your hands. I had a failed job interview. My favorite novel is coming to an end. Is there really going to be a bad ending in my life? The girl thought to herself with despair. No! Shouted the girl, opening her eyes. She put her arms out in front of her as if defending herself from an approaching car. The girl looked carefully at her trembling hands. Had she really survived? Getting out of bed, the girl noticed that she was in a room that was unfamiliar to her. She assumed it was a ward of the local hospital. The door swung open abruptly. A woman in a maid's uniform threw a pink gown at the girl. I told you to come down as soon as you were ready. How long do you plan on keeping Earl Black and his wife waiting for you? Propping her arms to her sides, the maid asked. What Earl? What are you talking about now? The girl wondered. She was beginning to guess that this wasn't a hospital, but someplace completely different. Hey, aren't you fully awake? You're going to the Duke's house today, so hurry up! The maid said in an angry voice and left the room. Yeah, she's right. I'm probably still asleep and dreaming about all this, mumbled the girl. The girl walked over to the mirror and began to scrutinize herself. She had a completely different body. The girl suddenly remembered that there was a similar character in the game. The pink hair and ruby eyes were those of the main character, Jaina. Did my dream come true, and I got into a game based on the short story, How to Love an Obsessive-Compulsive Protagonist? The girl marveled. That's right! After dying in the real world, my soul moved into the game and I became Jaina Black. I always thought this kind of thing only happened in fantasy books and manga. How awesome is that? Now, I don't have to worry about finding a job. I can just enjoy a measured life with a handsome main character. I finally have a chance to make my dream come true. I'm even willing to be on a chain just to be fed and clothed. I'm sick of looking for a job and then living my life in it. So, to summarize the day, I remember being hit by a car and then waking up in this world. Well, I always thought the way reincarnation described in books was a hackneyed cliché, and I never thought it would happen to me. Anyway, I'm happy to be able to go through this game by being directly in it. In the real world, nothing good happened in my life, so I wasn't even upset that I got here. Since I'm still in the Black family mansion, it means that the game's storyline is just beginning. Accordingly, it is today that I will see Theodore for the first time. I need to pack my bags and get out of here as soon as possible. Opening the closet, the girl saw empty hangers. She had no idea that the protagonist was so poor. Ah, yes, I completely forgot. It's most likely because of Jaina's background. She was the illegitimate daughter of Erd Black. The maids and sturdy servants treated the girl roughly. She didn't even have her own room. She huddled in the attic. Okay, I won't worry about it. My life is going to change dramatically today. All I have to do is wait a little longer. The girl grabbed her suitcase and went down to the living room. How beautiful it is here. Compared to the old attic, it's a real paradise. Admired the girl looking at the decoration of the house. Opening the living room door, the girl saw Earl Black and his wife. Didn't I tell you not to come in here without permission? The Earl was indignant upon seeing the girl. That man is most likely the protagonist's father. He looks so evil that I get the impression he is the main villain. You definitely shouldn't expect anything good from him, the girl thought to herself. I'm sorry to bother you. I stopped by to say goodbye to you before leaving for the Duke's residence, said the girl. Wait, you want to meet his lordship like this? You do realize that the Black family's reputation will fall because of your act. The countess was indignant. I was just wearing the dress you gave me, replied the girl. Jaina, how dare you cross your mother? Stop telling lies. Do you really need to be brought up even before you leave? Exclaimed the count. The count walked towards the girl with a quick step and swung his hand, intending to hit her in the face. Go ahead, hit me! But what will his lordship, the Duke, think if his future wife comes to him with a broken face? Looking sneakily asked the girl. Gritting his teeth angrily, the count turned away from his daughter irritably. A butler and a maid entered the room. They brought in the wedding gift sent by the Duke. The maid handed the gift to the countess. The countess took out a beautiful coat from the box. It was decorated with fur and a pink satin bow. The countess liked the wedding gift very much. What a familiar situation. If I follow the game's scenario now, the countess will deprive me of my gift coat. I'll have to go to the ducal palace in the same dress, the girl thought to herself. But I can't let that happen. I must make him fall in love with me at first sight. The girl snatched the coat from the countess's hands. That's right. You told me to dress appropriately to preserve our family's reputation, so I'll have to go to the Duke in this coat. And if you and I ever meet again, please address me as Duchess. The girl grabbed her suitcase and sprinted out of the parlor. Sitting in the carriage, the girl decided to analyze the situation. Apparently, she had entered the world of the game. This country was called Erlin. It was inhabited by many different races. There was a lot of magic in the country, and even the air was filled with magic mana. Among the townspeople, you could find travelers, wizards, and scientists. As in any other fantasy world, there was a huge number of monsters of all kinds. The northern part of the country, Tyronia, was known for its demonic inhabitants. It was even called the Devil's Nest. Because of the monsters, people hated and feared the northern area. Also, people feared and hated Duke Theodore. He was the ruler of the northern lands. People thought he was extremely cruel and ruthless. I definitely remember that in the story of the game, Jaina, while riding in the carriage to the duchy, was crying because she was afraid of the Duke. But I'm different. I have other goals. Smiling, the girl thought. I have a splendid opportunity to live my whole life lying in bed. My husband will be my favorite handsome protagonist. I'll be able to enjoy life and not worry about anything else. Suddenly, the carriage rocked and the girl fell to the floor. "You can get out!" shouted the coachman. The girl promised herself that she would definitely take revenge on him as soon as she got the chance. "This place looks even creepier in person than it was described in the book and shown in the game," mumbled the girl, looking around the Duke's manor. "Okay, we need to go forward. I can't pass up." The girl gripped the handle of her suitcase tighter and headed towards the main gate with a firm, confident step. The Duke heard the indignant cry of crows. Looking out the window, he saw the girl hurrying toward the house. "Looks like we have an intruder," muttered the Duke. Suddenly, a system alert appeared next to the girl. She had the option of continuing the game or stopping at this level. If she made the wrong decision, the girl could lose her life. "What do you mean, lose your life? Isn't this a game? But I have nowhere to retreat to. My goal is to be imprisoned in this manor with the protagonist. I have to keep going." The girl muttered to herself and pressed the "Continue Game" button. The system thanked the girl for her choice and wished her a successful completion of the game. The main gate of the manor rattled open. Yeah, it wasn't all that scary while playing the game. In person, it looks creepy, thought the girl as she entered the manor. This is a ducal castle, so why is it so dusty? Even though he is also a bastard child, he is still considered a member of the royal family. What's wrong with this? According to the plot of the game, the emperor sent Theodore, the illegitimate son of the late empress, to the northern part of the country, as if for their knowledge. The premise of his marriage to Jaina was purely for political motives. The emperor needed the means to combat and control the aristocratic forces. The foolish and greedy Earl Black had inherited a vast fortune made by his ancestors. To the emperor, the earl was an easy target. It was advantageous for the emperor and the earl to marry off their children. They were both illegitimate and unwanted by their families. "Isn't anyone even coming to greet me? Should I go straight to the Duke's office? If I had moved to some other game, I would have had to act more harshly. It's a good thing I ended up here." The girl picked up her suitcase and headed for the Duke's office. According to the game, it was at the very top of a tall tower. A little out of breath, the girl stopped in front of the massive wooden door. In front of the girl's eyes, the system alert appeared again. The game offered several options for the development of the story. The girl could knock on the door, open it without knocking, or call loudly for help. "Of course, just open the door," said the girl and pressed the right button. Suddenly, the door swung open and the girl literally fell into the Duke's office. "What are you doing in my castle?" Theodore asked in a displeased tone. "That's the real Theo. The mask suits him just fine." The girl marveled. "The door opened on its own. I was just standing next to it," said the girl, shaking off the dust from the hem of her dress. "Who are you anyway?" asked Theodore. "Before asking such questions, isn't it polite to introduce yourself?" "Question for question," the girl replied. She realized that she was acting a little cocky, but she decided to take a chance. She must interest the Duke in something. Why not with her behavior? My name is Theodore Acuren. I am the Grand Duke of the Northern Territory. It is an honor to meet you. And my name is Jaina Black. I come from the family of Earl Black. I have come here to become your wife." The girl noted to herself that she was already used to her new name. She truly felt like the Earl's illegitimate daughter, Jaina Black. "What do you mean, wife?" Theodore wondered. "You don't seem to know anything yet. Here is a letter sent to me by the Imperial family." Jaina held out an envelope to the Duke. "Well, if the Emperor himself insists, there I will have to agree to his will," said the Duke after reading the letter. "I want to ask you, Miss Black, are you content to be notified of our marriage in this way? I take it this is a marriage of mutual reluctance? You could just walk away now and no one would know about it." "But I don't have a home to go back to. My parents treat me badly, so I have no one else to turn to. Please, let me stay with you," said the girl, and her eyes immediately filled with tears. "I hope you've heard the rumors about me. They call me a monster, merciless to both demons and humans." Theodore warned the girl. "But those are just rumors. I don't believe them. I'm sure that in reality you are a very kind person." Carelessly waved away, Jaina said, "I don't know where you get this from, but I agree to have you stay in my house. Let's get you some room ready where you can sleep," said the Duke and picked up the girl's suitcase. He led his future wife to her room. "Speaking of which, I wanted to ask you, why is your castle all dusty? Where did the servants go?" asked the girl, but Theodore answered her nothing. This was to be expected, because Theodore's favor varied depending on the player's choices. The increasing level of good relations between the Duke and Jaina allowed them to do many things, including going on a date. "Since we met a few minutes ago, we can assume that my rating is 0% right now," the girl guessed. Theodore stopped abruptly and announced to the girl that she would be staying in this room from now on. "Here it is, the door to paradise, behind which you can enjoy life for the rest of your days," thought the girl, looking at the tall, light oak door. Without saying a word, the Duke turned around and went about his business. "Damn, he's completely ignoring me. I really hope he starts treating me better if I increase my sympathy," Jaina thought to herself. That Jaina is weird after all. How could anyone call me a kind person? This girl probably has some ulterior motives. I need to watch her. I don't trust her, Theodore thought to himself. Upon entering the room, the girl fell into a stupor. The room looked more like a barn than a bedroom. The room was even worse than the one in which the girl lived in the Count's family. "Since that's the case, I'll build a perfect life with my own hands. I need to try hard, because a comfortable and carefree existence is at stake," loudly exclaimed the girl and threw off her dress. "Not only do I need to get this room in order, but I also need to think of a plan for my next steps. I need to increase Theodore's sympathy for me as soon as possible." Literally 2 hours later, the room was sparkling clean. Jaina hadn't expected it to be so spacious and bright. The floors and windows gleamed with cleanliness. All that remained was to hang the clothes in the closet. Opening the closet doors, the girl squealed loudly. "What happened?" A frightened Theodore burst into the room. "Theo, help me! There's a huge spider sitting in the closet. It's so big and scary, I think it's going to eat me." Jaina literally threw herself into Theodore's arms. She really wanted to hide behind his mighty back. "Was your heartbreaking scream over some little bug?" Theodore asked the girl in surprise. He quickly conjured a white beam of energy in the air and struck the spider with it. Sinking to the floor from exhaustion, Jaina thanked the Duke for his help. "Wait, I think I've seen a similar situation somewhere before. Oh yes, that's right. It was the incident with the spider that is supposed to start the relationship between Theo and me. According to the story, the main character picked up a spider and called it cute," the girl recalled. When Theodore saw that the girl had warm feelings for the scary spider, he blossomed and started showing more attention to her. "I had an excellent chance to increase Theo's affection for me, and I blew it." The girl's mood soured dramatically. "That's it! This is the end! If I keep on doing wrong, the Duke might get angry with me and throw me out of the house. And that would be the best option. Since he's quite cruel, he might as well kill if I disobey." Jaina howled in despair. Suddenly a terrible picture appeared before the girl's eyes. She was lying in Theodore's arms, bleeding. "Don't be afraid. Everything is all right now. From this moment on, you and I will be together forever, my dear Jaina. You are now mine forever," said Theodore, smiling madly. "What was that just now? Is this my destiny or one of the ends of this game?" Frightened, the girl thought. "You've somehow gotten a little too much into a stupor. Did you really get that scared? I'm sorry, it's my fault. I'll try to make sure incidents like that don't happen again." Theodore squatted down next to the girl. "Don't worry, I'm fine. I was just thinking for a moment," Jaina exclaimed. "Something got my imagination running wild. I just remembered that most of the endings in this game end with the protagonist dying at the hands of Theodore." The girl thought to herself and felt her heart pound fearfully. "I need to calm down. Yes, one key moment of the game was missed and done wrong. All I have to do is focus on making sure mistakes like that don't happen again." Suddenly, the Duke took off his coat and put it on Jaina. "The northern part of Theronia is much colder in climate than Black County. Wear this for now and I'll find you some warmer clothes," said the Duke to the girl. Theodore walked out of Jaina's room and closed the door tightly behind him. "The man who ignored me all this time gave me his coat? So the choice I made with that spider wasn't such a bad choice?" questioned the girl. "Fine. If it continues like this, my goal will be accomplished. Should continue in the same vein." After a while, the Duke returned to the girl's room with a warm dress in his hands. He explained to her that it was the only feminine thing he had found in his house. As she touched the dress, the girl felt that it was very warm and soft. Theodore left the room so the girl could change her clothes in peace. "Theodore, the dress is very comfortable, warm and beautiful. Thank you," said Jaina, walking out of the room. The dress fit her just perfectly. "I'm glad you like it," said Theodore with a smile. Jaina noted to herself that smiling suits the Duke very well. When he smiles, he looks less intimidating. "Tomorrow I will send servants to clean your place." Embarrassed, Theodore said. The girl was extremely curious as to why tomorrow and not today, but the Duke ignored her question. "Right. The episode with the servants isn't supposed to appear until the second half of the game. But the amazing thing is, for some reason the game is developing a little differently now than I thought it would," Jaina thought to herself. Suddenly, the Duke noticed that the bed was missing linens. Jaina admitted to him that she had to throw it away as it was too dirty. It was the only bedding in the entire castle. Theodore confessed to the girl. "Really? Why is there only one bedding for the entire Duke's residence?" Jaina wondered. "It doesn't matter. It's late, it's bedtime. Since you don't have bedding, you can go to sleep in my room," replied the Duke. "Well, if there's no other way, then I'll take it." Jaina tried to hide her joy. She hadn't expected to be in the Duke's room so soon. This was the perfect start to their relationship. The Duke led the girl to his room. "This is awesome. Tonight he and I are going to spend our first night together." The girl was excited, but immediately her joy faded. The room turned out to be dark, dusty, and hung with cobwebs. "Somehow I thought the Duke's room should look more decent. His bedroom is almost no different from mine. How the hell did Theodore live in this castle for so long?" Jaina thought to herself. Again, a system alert appeared in front of the girl's eyes. The game suggested, open the curtains, examine the bookshelf, or settle down on the bed. If memory serves me correctly, Theo's favor should increase from the second choice. I should start with the bookshelf. But if my goal is to stay with Theodore forever, then I should tweak my choices a bit. Jaina decided. The darkness in the room makes it feel gloomy. Let's let the beautiful moonlight into the room, suggested the girl, and opened the curtains. Look at that, it's so much better. Theodore wanted to leave, but the girl stopped him by taking his hand. She wanted to talk to him. Jaina was burning with the desire to get the Duke comfortable with her as soon as possible and get her hands on the coveted ending. "If there is only one bedding in your castle, does that mean we have to sleep together tonight?" the girl asked. The daughter of a noble nobleman should not speak so lightly in such a manner, resented Theodore. What's the big deal? You and I are practically married. You said yourself that we shouldn't cross the Emperor's wishes, Jaina exclaimed. Gosh, it's so cute how embarrassed he is. I never noticed it before because I was only interested in the end game. I love seeing how he reacts to my words. Pleased the girl. Suddenly, Jaina's stomach rumbled. The girl remembered that she hadn't eaten anything since morning. She had been so busy that she had even forgotten about eating on time. Sorry, I forgot to feed you, said Theodore and looked in the drawer of the bedside table. Theodore pulled out some pills and something that looked like a large candy from the bedside table drawer. He explained that it was a dinner that was compact and nutritionally balanced. Huh, that's so funny. And you're an amazing and interesting person. Laughing, the girl said. She was really hoping for a sumptuous, aristocratic meal, not a nutritious bar. She would love to have a steak or a 3-tiered dessert. Well, if that's what I'm going to have to eat in the near future, I better get home to my macaroons, Jaina thought to herself wistfully. In real life, the girl was constantly having money problems, and so she often had to go hungry. To save money on food, she could try for weeks with nothing but noodles. The girl was very reluctant to return to this joyless life. I really wanted to enjoy luxurious and delicious food. I never thought that I would be eating some pills and nutrient bar. Why do these things even exist in this world? The girl thought in despair. Phew, okay. It's too early to give up. There's bound to be a way out of this situation. By all means, I must overcome this ordeal and find a gracious life. Let's go to the dining hall with you. Jaina grabbed Theodore's hand and dragged him along. The girl really wanted a delicious steak, so she hoped to find some fresh meat in the refrigerator. Entering the dining room, Jaina felt a wild disappointment. This was not the room she had envisioned. It looked more like a warehouse where a mouse could hang himself in despair. There were no servants, no bedding, not even food in the castle. Maybe it's easier to say what this castle even has? I can't believe there's nothing in the kitchen, not even bread. Jaina howled in despair again. Since the girl had no other choice, she had to eat the nutrient bar. She suddenly became so quiet. I was sure she wouldn't like the food I offered. How hungry is she that she agreed to eat it? Thought of you, Duke, on his way back to the room. I'll go and find you some food now, Theodore promised the girl. Where are you going to go? It is already 1 o'clock in the morning. Are you really going to hunt monsters? Jaina asked. I'd love to if you ask me to, replied Theodore. Please don't. Just sit here and do nothing. Honestly, I absolutely hate this situation. I'm worried about you, Jaina exclaimed. You live all alone in this huge castle. You're a mess and you don't try to eat normal food. You could get sick that way. I'll be by your side from now on. Let's live a long, beautiful life with each other, shall we? Please take care of yourself. Jaina remembered that those were the exact words the main character had said as she took Theodore's hands. The girl hoped that this line would be good for their relationship with Theodore. Forgive me, I'm sorry. I don't understand it myself, but I feel I owe you an apology. I made false assumptions about you and acted on them. Bowing low before the girl, Theodore said, When I played this game, I was completely unaware of the protagonist's true feelings, but now I've realized everything. Ran through the girl's mind. It's because of the prejudice that a northern duke must be ruthless that Theo appreciates other people's feelings. He is a very considerate man. It's a pity that while I was trying to come out only for the bad ending, I didn't notice the good qualities of the main character at all. But now I know that Theo is a kind and warm person. Come on, please stop apologizing to me already. We'll definitely work that part out with you. Jaina touched a finger to Duke's lips, urging him to be quiet. And what can I do to make Miss Black feel even better? Theodore asked in a quiet voice. Then please show me what you have under your mask, asked the girl. Do you really want to see my face? Asked Theodore and dropped his mask. When Theodore was little, he was often kicked out of stores and various taverns. He was called the Little Monster. So Theodore always wanted to know what it was like when someone accepts you for who you are. Isn't that the monster child everyone talks about? I mean, look at him. He's so dirty after all. I get goosebumps the moment he looks in my direction. He really is a disgusting guy. The people in the squares whispered. Theodore was always hungry and alone. He had no one to turn to for help. Sometimes he felt that just a little longer and he would surely die. Theodore did not understand why people treated him so badly, because it was not his fault that he was born that way. When Theodore was 13 years old, the emperor recognized him as his illegitimate son. From that time, the boy's life began to get better, but he still often dreamed of a hungry childhood. "Your Grace Prince Theodore, the emperor wishes to see you," said the butler who entered the room. There was contempt on his face. The servants didn't like Theodore, the nobles didn't want to acknowledge him, so Theodore was constantly alone. "Hello, Your Majesty the Emperor. What was the occasion you wanted to see me about?" asked Theodore to the emperor. "I am getting cold at the mere sight of you. I am well aware that everyone calls you a monster. Don't look at me like that. It scares me." Looking at his son with disgust, the emperor said, "I called you here as the situation in northern Theronia has worsened. Monsters have begun to rage near our border. Go there right now." Theodore guessed that his father was sending him to the north for a reason. This was a nest of demons, and the lad had no military experience. It was clear that the emperor wanted him dead. Theodore didn't understand why even his relatives were calling him a monster and wishing him a quick death. He didn't know where he had sinned or what he had done wrong. Even after Theodore traveled north, the emperor continued to watch him. He feared that the royal blood that flowed in the boy's veins might one day become a threat to him. It was for this reason that the emperor arranged a political marriage. Through marriage, the emperor hoped to appease his son and distract him from the throne. Sometimes Theodore thought that Jaina was actually a mercenary, and she was probably sent to kill him when he let his guard down. Therefore, the Duke regarded the girl with suspicion. After observing the girl for a bit, Theodore realized that she was not what he had imagined. Although the girl was an aristocrat, she was shamelessly spouting vile and abusive expressions. And she didn't even hesitate to clean the room in her underwear. After chatting with the girl, Theodore realized that she was sincere and open. She treated him warmly while others called him a monster. Although Theodore was afraid to see contempt in the girl's eyes, he decided to show her the real him anyway. When Jaina saw Theodore without his mask, she gasped in admiration. He was even more handsome than he had been in the game. "How handsome you are, after all!" The girl marveled. "This is the first time anyone has ever called me such nice words," Theodore confessed. "Yeah, and it's the first time I've ever said that to a guy in person. But you deserve to hear it." With a cute giggle, Jaina said, "I apologize if I offended you in any way with my words or actions," said the girl, but Theodore assured her that it was okay. He wasn't offended by her. Suddenly, Theodore felt his heart racing. This was the first time this had ever happened to him. Theodore bent down to pick up his mask from the floor. "Wait, why are you putting that mask on your face again?" the girl asked. She really didn't want Theodore to wear a mask. Jaina really liked his face and wanted to look at it all the time. "The reason is my eyes. I have to wear a mask because they are cursed," replied Theodore. "What makes you think that? You have very beautiful eyes. You don't have to hide them under a mask," exclaimed Jaina. "Miss Black, please, I beg you. There is no need to lie," quietly whispered Theodore asked. He tried to cover his face with his hands. He felt uncomfortable under the girl's gaze. "It's all because his marvelous eyes crush monsters. All my life, people have been afraid of him and treated him as a monster. I can't believe the people of this world don't realize the beauty of the combination of black hair and silver eyes." The girl thought to herself. "And what am I going to tell him? How do I talk him out of putting the mask back on?" The system message appeared in front of the girl again. The game offered the girl several options for answers. Jaina needed to choose the one that felt more like a compliment than flattery. "What idiot said such nonsense about your eyes? In an angry voice, the girl asked. She decided not to go along with the system and only say what was on her heart at the moment. Theodore clamped his hand over the girl's mouth and asked her to be more restrained in her words. Why is it okay for people to insult you when they don't really know much about you themselves? And what's wrong with me rudely calling people who aren't even here? Jaina asked. Suddenly, Theodore laughed out loud. And what did I say that was so funny? Wondered the girl. You know, you're a lot of fun to be with. Wiping the tears from his eyes, Theodore said. Jaina was glad that she had managed to put Theodore in a positive mood. Communicating with him was easy and casual. Please call me by my first name, for I am soon to be your consort with whom you will spend the rest of your life, asked Jaina. Very well, Miss Jaina. Bowing respectfully, Theodore said. Not Miss Jaina, just Jaina. And say goodbye to that mask. I'm the only one in the castle who can see your face. Jaina snatched the mask from the Duke's hands and tossed it aside. Good. Then you too shall call me Theodore, for I will soon be your consort with whom you will spend the rest of your life. It's getting late. I'll go take a shower and we'll go to bed, said the girl and disappeared into the bathroom. This whole situation seems extremely strange, but I feel indescribably relieved after Jaina's words. Even though she may use harsh words at times, but she's a pretty interesting girl. Thought to himself Theodore. Jaina is very beautiful. She has mesmerizing red eyes. They're like rubies worked by the best jeweler. She also has long, flowing hair that feels like silk to the touch. Her lips are beautiful, small, and dainty. I want to kiss her right now. Damn, what am I thinking? Theodore became very angry with himself. He banged his forehead against the wall to bring himself to his senses. I need to calm down. As desirable as Jaina is, I need to stay a gentleman to the end. Theo, don't you have anything smaller? This robe is too big on me, asked the girl coming out of the bathroom. Theodore froze in embarrassment, opening his mouth in surprise. Theo, what's going on? Why aren't you reacting to anything I say? Asked Jaina, looking into Theodore's eyes. Startled, Theodore shuddered and hurried off to the bathroom. What's wrong with him? Wondered Jaina. When Theodore came out of the bathroom, the girl was already asleep. Walking over to the bed, Theodore heard Jaina whispering in her sleep about sweet desserts. Jaina is indeed a very strange girl. In just one day, she has made the wary me believe her. I had a lot of fun with her today for the first time in a long time, thought Theodore, adjusting the girl's blanket. Theodore lay down on the mat next to the bed and fell into sleep. It had been a long time since he had fallen asleep so easily and quickly. Damn, I'm late again, screamed Jaina, downloading on the bed. After a few seconds, the girl realized that she was now in a different world and had a completely different life. I had already forgotten that I died and was reborn in a new body. Luckily, I don't have to go to work anymore. Long live the happy life of an aristocrat, joyfully exclaimed the girl. By the way, I fell asleep yesterday before I knew it. The real Jaina is a true aristocrat, so she looks like an angel while sleeping. There was even an illustration in the novel where Theo kisses Jaina's forehead while she sleeps. Compared to her, I'm a factory worker. Suddenly, the girl realized that Theodore wasn't beside her. She looked up from the bed and found him sleeping on the floor. Jaina crouched down next to Theodore and started to wake him up. Theodore jumped up from the floor, and with a sudden movement, he kicked the girl to the floor. Wait, what are you doing? Screamed the girl. Jaina, is that you? Frightened Theodore exclaimed and bounced to the side. Theodore noticed the bruises on the girl's arm. Did I do that? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. In a frightened voice, Theodore mumbled. Jaina rushed to assure him that she was fine. She didn't feel any pain. I'd already forgotten that Theo is very wary even when he sleeps. And it's understandable, since he grew up in the slums. And even in the imperial palace, he was often at the mercy of death. Jaina thought to herself, I'm sorry. I'm really no different from a monster. It's not normal to act like this, Theodore said in a sad voice. No, I just should have acted more carefully, exclaimed the girl. I'm sorry, I promise you that something like this won't happen again. Let's forget about what happened and continue our communication as before, suggested Theodore, to which the girl gladly agreed. Listen, let's not dwell on trivialities. I suggest we take a walk around the city today. With a cheerful smile, the girl said. You want to go outside the castle, Theodore clarified. The girl noticed that his mood had taken a sharp turn for the worse. Theodore's face turned pale in an instant. Yes, I want to go out into the city for a nice meal and to buy some new clothes, the girl explained. There should be servants arriving at the castle closer to evening tonight. We will ask them to buy you some clothes and cook you a meal, Theodore told the girl. But I don't want to wait for the servants. I already want to go out into the city with you right now to have a good breakfast and update your closet. Jaina folded her arms pleadingly. The girl knew that in this game, dates opened up when a favorability rating was 30 points or higher. It usually took about 10 days to build up favorability to that level. But I can't quietly wait for that moment. I'd rather keep fighting for our relationship than eat nutrition bars to the last. Decided to herself, Jaina. All right then, since you can't come with me, pick up some strong, handsome guy as my escort. It's been a while since I've been out on the town. I really want to go out to unwind. Dreamily covering her eyes, Jaina said, I'm not picking anyone up for you. With an evil glare, Theodore said. No matter how kind a character Theodore was, it didn't negate his immense sense of affection for Jaina. I will not allow any other man in your life besides me. You realize yourself, you and I will soon be husband and wife. I can't have my spouse walking around town alone with another man. Then I have no choice but to go alone, the girl said thoughtfully. Theodore told her that he agreed to go out into the city. But I have 2 conditions. First, I will wear a mask and cloak. Second, as soon as everything is done, we will immediately go back to the castle, said Theodore to the girl. Jaina was willing to do anything as long as she could go out into the city and have a proper meal. The girl was glad that she had the opportunity to see the city from the game with her own eyes. Dreams do come true after all. Look at this great restaurant! I'm hungry, let's go! Jaina exclaimed and grabbed the Duke's hand and dragged him into the restaurant. Unfortunately, as soon as the waiters saw Theodore, they immediately closed the doors and loudly announced that they were on their lunch break. What on earth is going on? Why am I being kicked out right from the doorstep? I'm going in right now, and I'm definitely going to give them a beating. Jaina was indignant. The girl heard an excited whisper. Turning around, she saw a cluster of people. They were discussing the Duke's appearance in the town square. Why did the Duke come here today? He's never done this before. And who is that girl? Did he really kidnap her? What a poor thing, people whispered. Hey, honored ones, could you? Jaina started to get indignant, but the Duke asked her not to escalate the situation. Come, Jaina, I beg you, asked the Duke. The girl could see that it was extremely hard for the Duke to be among people, so she agreed to leave the square. Theodore and Jaina wanted to visit a few more restaurants, but even there, the doors were closing in front of their noses. The reaction of the owners was the same everywhere. Poor Theo. He's lived his whole life surrounded by these people who treat him so badly. When I was playing, I didn't really care much because I thought it was just configuration settings. Jaina thought sadly. Sorry, I shouldn't have come with you after all. I'll be waiting for you outside of town. Once you've eaten and done all your chores, then come there, said Theodore to the girl. He was uncomfortable with the girl seeing the attitude of people towards him. Wait, before you leave, let's go to another diner. If we get rejected there too, we'll go home together, the girl asked. She really wanted to make things right. She didn't want to go home in a bad mood. If we go home now, we can forget about dating in the city forever. This old diner is my last chance, Jaina thought to herself. Jaina entered the diner and asked the smiling hostess if there were any seats available. The smiling woman replied that of course there were. The owner of the establishment came out of the den and, bowing to the Duke, announced that they would be happy to serve him and his lady. Theo, don't worry. There is no one else in this restaurant but us right now. Jaina could see that the Duke was feeling extremely uncomfortable. The hostess of the diner had put a lot of all sorts of food on the table. All of the dishes looked extremely appetizing. We are happy that the Grand Duke visited our establishment. I am very grateful for his help. Sir, I don't know if you remember, but you once saved my husband from an evil monster, said the woman with a smile. We always wanted to thank you for that, and now we have a chance to do so. We prepared this meal with all of our souls invested in it, so enjoy it to the fullest. Jaina saw the expression on Theodore's face finally clear. He was pleased to hear such kind words. Well, you see, there are people in this city who treat you well after all, so you can eat in peace and not worry about anything, smiling, exclaimed Jaina. But I'm starting to worry about these people. If the townspeople find out I've been here, they'll start rumors that this diner is cursed. Then no one will ever come here again. Because of me, these people will become bankrupt, said Theodore to the girl. Let's eat quickly and leave right away. This is all because of me. It's my fault. It's all because I'm a horrible monster. Still, Theo's heart has received many unbearable wounds. I don't even realize how hard it is for him. I have to help him and protect him from the attacks of those around him, decided Jaina. I will always be by your side. Things that happen today will happen in the future. Prejudice won't go away quickly, but you won't have to suffer as much as you did before, Jaina promised, taking Theodore's hand. Thank you, Jaina, mumbled Theodore. The owner of the diner said that her daughter had a small clothing store, so they could go to her if they wanted to update their closet. Jaina gladly accepted the offer. The clothing store owner greeted the Duke with a happy smile and helped Jaina pick out a few new dresses for herself. I'm so happy. For the first time in my life, I can buy whatever I want without worrying about money, joyfully exclaimed the girl when the shopping was done. Is that so? And I heard that Earl Black is quite rich, surprised Theodore. The girl had already forgotten that she was the daughter of an earl in this world. That's true. It's just that I wasn't given any pocket money. The girl began to justify herself. Back home, Jaina fell tiredly on the bed. This is what heaven looks like. I enjoyed some delicious food and shopping today. This is the life I've always dreamed of, joyfully exclaimed the girl. Suddenly, Jaina heard footsteps outside the door. The girl was very frightened. She knew that Theodore was in the bathroom and the servants would come only in the evening. Most likely there was an intruder at the door. What does all this mean? There was no such scene in the game. Is this castle really haunted? No, it's impossible after all. This is a romance game, not a horror movie. Frightenedly thought the girl. She got up from the bed and went to the door. Opening the door, the girl saw a long-haired man with glasses. Theodore! Shouted Jaina and ran towards the bathroom. Theodore quickly threw on his robe and jumped out of the bathroom. He immediately ran into Jaina. The girl flew into him with all her might. Jaina, tell me in detail what happened, Theodore asked. You are Miss Jaina, aren't you? Asked the man who entered. The girl hid behind Theodore's back fearfully. The Duke asked her to calm down as the long-haired man with glasses was their new butler Homer. I'm sorry for scaring you, miss. I didn't mean to do that, bowing said the butler. Jaina guessed that the servants had arrived earlier than expected. There I go. I've messed it up again. In the original story, the main character Jaina had made a great first impression on the butler. With her refined manners, she had gotten Homer to like her. The girl thought with annoyance. You see, nothing terrible has happened. Everything is fine. You don't have to worry. Theodore could see that the girl was very upset about something, so he hurried to comfort her by stroking her head. I have no idea what happened, but it seems that our relationship has reached a new level. Jaina quietly rejoiced at the changes Theodore had made. I'm sorry I touched you without permission, Theodore said unexpectedly. The girl hurriedly assured him that it was okay. They are a couple, so they can touch each other. If that's the case, can I hug you? Theodore asked. Jaina answered him in agreement. Theodore put his arms around the girl and held her tightly against him. The butler entered the room again and announced that there were urgent matters that required the Duke's intervention. Apologizing, Theodore left the room. Theodore is so sweet and caring. Has my dream really come true? I'm so glad our relationship is finally working out. Jaina was worried that her racing heart would keep her awake tonight. Here's the report regarding the investigation on Jaina. The details are still to be investigated, but based on the current investigation, it's safe to say that there is no connection between the imperial family and Miss Jaina. Homer held out the results of the investigation to Theodore. One can no longer think that Jaina is a spy sent by the palace. Earl Black may have something to do with the Emperor, but Miss certainly doesn't. She can be trusted. That may be true, but should I trust her so naively and fully? Isn't it dangerous? I can't judge her based on current feelings alone. I have to remember that she could betray me at any moment. Thought to himself Theodore. Good morning, madam. My name is Ellie McGradge. The girl who entered the room introduced herself. As of today, I will serve as your personal maid. If you need anything, you can come to me. Look, Ellie, why don't we get some more sleep? In a disgruntled voice, Jaina muttered. Madam, you can't sleep any longer. It's 6 a.m, so we need to get on with today's routine, Ellie said with a smile. In the real world, at 6 a.m, students are preparing for the upcoming school day. It's the time when office workers hastily pack to catch the subway or bus. Why do I have to get up so early, too? Jaina thought irritably. So, shall we start our day? First, you have a morning walk, then a contrast shower. Then you'll change into your casual clothes and head to the dining room for breakfast with the Duke. Ellie began to narrate. No, I'm going to sleep. Jaina turned away from the girl and covered herself with a blanket. Will you continue to sleep despite the sunrise? Would your ladyship be feeling unwell? Ellie asked fearfully. Jaina answered her that she was fine. She just wanted to sleep. When Ellie left the room, Jaina locked the door behind her. The girl didn't want anyone else entering her room. Kicking the door with his foot, Theodore burst into the girl's room. Jaina, are you all right? In an excited voice exclaimed Theodore, running up to the girl. What's that noise? It's probably a continuation of my dream. Well then, I'll continue. In a sleepy voice, the girl muttered, turning onto her other side. Jaina, how are you feeling? Why didn't you come down for breakfast? Maybe you have a fever? Then don't say anything. Save your strength. We'll get the doctor right away, said the Duke, taking the girl's hand. Since Jaina had absolutely no idea what was going on, she glanced at the butler Homer, asking him to explain the situation. Madam, you were scheduled to have breakfast with the Duke in the dining room, but you weren't there. We knocked on the door and called out for you, but there was no response. So the decision was made to break into the room, explained the butler. Nothing terrible has happened. Theodore, you do remember that you and I went out all day yesterday, don't you? I was pretty tired, so I wanted to sleep longer than usual today. Jaina hurried to reassure the Duke. She had already forgotten that the game's storyline had him obsessed with her. That's good. It makes me happy that you're healthy, the Duke said with a smile. The girl promised him to come down to the dining room after a while. I wish my life would turn out the way I want it to. I thought the life of a Grand Duchess would be different, that I would be able to eat as much as I wanted and sleep until I did. I expected total freedom. The girl thought doomfully. I can't believe that. In just one day we have proper food on our tables, exclaimed Jaina, sitting down at the table. The chef hasn't arrived yet, so Homer made all the food for us, confessed the Duke. Jaina really enjoyed the food prepared by the butler. She didn't expect it to be so good. After breakfast, Homer brought the girl several dozen books and told her that she should read them. That way she could learn about the history of the Akurana family and familiarize herself with etiquette in society. Also from these books, you will learn how to run this castle as a mistress. You will become familiar with the organization and behavior at the ball parties being thrown. You will know how to dress and socialize in various situations. The two things the girl disliked most in life were waking up early and studying. She didn't understand why she needed to study again, since she had already finished high school and university. I would like to warn you that you must review all of these books in today's time. All dates have been personally approved by His Lordship. Madam must receive a basic education as befits a Grand Duchess. You are scheduled for an exam tomorrow on what you have learned. A spacious home, delicious food, a secure future, and a handsome husband. I thought I had everything for a happy life. But even in this world, you can't get anything for free. Doomed, Jaina thought. Homer, but I'm not going to read all these books in today. I was planning on going into town with Theo. Jaina was ready to do anything to avoid studying. I'm not sure the Duke had any such plans. The butler looked into his notebook. And these plans came out of the blue. I just remembered I need a haircut. Smiling, the girl lied. Jaina went to Theodore's office to talk him into going into town with her. Jaina, is something wrong? It seems like you're supposed to spend all day today studying books with Homer. Theodore was surprised to see the girl come into his office. How about we go out on the town right now? The girl suggested. Weren't we there yesterday? Sorry, we're not going anywhere today. Go to your room and continue studying with Homer, replied Theodore. But it's not just for me I want to go outside. Well, for you too. I'd like you to get a little haircut. Jaina wanted to touch Theodore's hair, but he stopped her by taking her hand. I don't want a haircut. I don't want anyone to touch me, and I will not allow anyone to excessively touch you. Jaina remembered that according to the game's storyline, Theodore had been attacked countless times since he was a child. He didn't know who could come to him at any moment and take his life. It was for this reason that Theo was very wary of sharp objects. Listen, I think you'll look a lot cooler with short hair, so let me cut your hair, the girl asked. Suddenly, Theodore remembered his joyless childhood. You made a mistake again. You may be gorgeous for your age, but just because of that, don't act vain. Concentrate. Next time you make a mistake, I'll slap you on the cheek, shouted his math teacher at Theodore. I don't understand why you haven't been thrown out of the palace yet. This country doesn't need horrible people like you. The math teacher pulled a sharp pair of scissors out of his pocket and swung it at Theodore. Theodore managed to dodge. The scissors hurt his arm. Theodore fell to the floor along with the chair. Don't worry, I'll put an end to your torment. You do wish to be rid of this cursed body and finally find peace, don't you? Hissed the teacher through his teeth. After this incident, Theodore became afraid of the sound made by the scissors. Since Theodore couldn't refuse the girl's request, he allowed her to cut his hair. Don't worry, I'll give you a haircut that should fit you perfectly. Trust me, I'm pretty good at this sort of thing. Seeing that Theodore was worried, the girl hurriedly calmed him down. Now close your eyes and think of something nice, said the girl and flicked the scissors. That sound. It's the same as it was then. Theodore had to clench his fists tightly to calm the trembling in his body. I don't want to think about it, but it's not working for me. What if Jaina is a spy for the imperial family? She might already be taking a swing to finish me off. Theodore thought to himself with horror. Opening his eyes, Theodore saw the girl's tense face. He realized that she was really determined to cut him down, not to do any harm. Jaina saw Theodore slumped into the chair. The girl realized that he had some kind of psychological trauma. Most likely there had been some unpleasant incident with the scissors. Theo, let me tell you something. I once tried to trim my bangs myself and made a big mistake. The saddest part was that there was no way to fix it. The girl decided to cheer Theodore up with a funny story. From that moment on, I went out only with a hat on, so that no one could see my disfigured bangs. And the funny thing was that as soon as I saw someone I knew, the wind immediately blew the hat off my head. I was so embarrassed. Passers-by were laughing at me. Right at that moment, I wanted to disappear, to vanish into thin air, and I'm glad it's a thing of the past. Show me those people who laughed at you, and I will surely punish them. I'll make sure they forget the impertinent words and never behave like that again, the Duke said in an irritated tone. The girl was glad that Theodore had switched to her story and stopped shaking. Jaina hoped that Theodore's psychological traumas would come up less and less often in the future. "Jaina, that haircut is shorter than I expected," said Theodore, touching his hair. The girl could see for herself that she had taken too much out. It took her a long time to even out the sides. That's why it came out so short. "If you don't like something, then excuse me for it," exclaimed Jaina and skipped out of the room. "Jaina, you told me to trust you, didn't you? And what was the result? Is this exactly what you wanted?" The Duke asked the girl in an angry tone. "Please hear me out for starters," the girl exclaimed, but Theodore didn't want to hear her excuses. Walking up to Jaina, Theodore drew his sword from its sheath. "Only one thing you can earn forgiveness from me. Give me your life." The Duke's eyes flashed with an insane light. With a loud scream, Jaina opened her eyes. Thankfully, it was only a dream. Sitting at her books, the girl didn't even realize she had fallen asleep. "I can't believe I'm starting to dream something like this. Maybe my character has some sort of gift of foresight? I'm scared to show my face in front of Theodore now. Maybe he really resents me for messing up his hair." "I'm left to recognize reality. Soon our relationship will begin to go downhill. It's over. I won't even have time to write a will." Into the girl's room came Theodore. He looked rather gloomy. Walking up to the girl, Theodore held out his hand. Jaina squirmed and squeezed her eyes tightly shut. The girl was preparing herself for the worst-case scenario. "Jaina, what happened? You ran out of the office so abruptly. I'm worried about you." Theodore stroked the girl's head. "Aren't you mad at me?" the girl asked. Theodore didn't understand why he should be angry. "Do you like your new hairstyle?" asked another question from Jaina. "Yes, it suits me completely," replied the Duke. "It's a new hairstyle made by Jaina. How could I not like it? Thanks to you, for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of the sound of scissors." "You will always cut my hair, won't you?" asked Theodore. "Yes, I will gladly cut your hair. I will practice my haircutting skills diligently so that I can make your hair look better and better each time," replied the girl. A few days later, the hair on Theodore's head grew back. It was all thanks to a special potion that Homer had brought. Jaina decided that she would never cut Theodore's hair too short again. Short hairstyles didn't suit him. "By the way, Jaina, how are things going with your studies?" Theodore asked the girl. "I don't argue. Everyone has individual criteria for success, but I'm putting in a lot of effort," replied Jaina. In reality, she absolutely did not want to learn anything. Since the girl was bored with the boring and uninteresting life of a Grand Duchess, she decided to escape outside the castle to find a more interesting occupation for herself. Jaina tied something like a rope from her dresses and let it down from the window. "My escape is extremely successful after all. I'm even glad it's going so smoothly. I'm a real genius. I've come up with the perfect crime." The girl rejoiced to herself. Suddenly, Jaina saw her maid Ellie at the window. "Miss Jaina, what are you doing here? It is extremely dangerous to hang like this. Get back to your room quickly," shouted Ellie. Startled, Jaina released the makeshift rope from her hands. With a wild scream, the girl flew down. Luckily, Jaina landed on a bush growing under the window. Shaking the leaves off her dress, the girl heard Ellie calling out to Duke for help. This is not good, Jaina thought and started to run away. I wonder how long I ran without stopping and at what speed. I've obviously overdone it. Jaina was short of breath. She leaned against a tree to catch her breath. What am I supposed to do now? Neither the novella nor the game had such an event. The protagonist clearly didn't dabble in such a thing. What if it leads to a breakup with Theodore? But I don't want to be there anymore. I'm sick of studying all the time. And what's the point of studying the manners and behavior of aristocrats anyway? Why know how to walk, talk, and even drink water properly? Isn't that nonsense? There are plenty of other things that would be more useful to learn. Gotta start by realizing where I am. This is most likely the central part of the forest. It's known as one of the most dangerous places in the north. It's full of monsters that are eager to ruin human life. Unexpectedly, the girl heard some rustling in the bushes. She immediately began to imagine a large, angry bear coming out of the bushes at her right now. Jaina picked up a large stick from the ground and held it out in front of her. "Just touch me, and the ruthless Duke won't even leave a wet spot on you!" shouted the girl. Out of the bushes came a creature that outwardly resembled a cat. The girl remembered that in her previous life she had wanted to save the cat, but had died under the wheels of a truck. "And why are you here alone? Where's your mom? You don't worry, I won't hurt you in any way," said Jaina to the animal. The girl held out her hand to the animal, thus showing it that she didn't want to do any harm to it. Suddenly, a black mist began to envelope the girl's hand. In this game world, there were 2 ways to use magic. Most wizards used mana hovering in the air, but there were also those who used the power contained directly in their bodies. Theo was one of those. Theodore had powerful magic and excellent skills in controlling it. It was for this that he had earned the title of Master Swordsman. This title belonged to a very limited number of people who could convert magical power into ball energies. Jaina had no magical powers, and accordingly, she was not able to wield magic either. According to the game's storyline, it was Theodore who always protected her from danger. "What's going on?" the girl screamed, frightened. The outlandish beast immediately absorbed the black magic into itself. The beast walked up to the girl and began to caress her. "Did you really choose me to be your master? You're so cute and fluffy. If you like me, then be my pet," suggested the girl. The beast meowed happily, agreeing with the girl's words. "Your lordship, I come to you with an urgent report. Mistress Jaina has just fallen from the 3rd floor. She then jumped to her feet and ran off into the forest," exclaimed Ellie, burst into the Duke's office. "Quickly show me where Jaina ran off to," ordered the Duke and jumped out of his office. "Jaina, can you hear me? If so, please answer me," shouted Theodore, stepping out onto the edge of the forest. He didn't even want to think about the fact that the girl could have been attacked by monsters. "Why did you run away from me? I thought we would be together forever. What did I do wrong? Why did you change your mind about being with me? Even so, I'm not going to let you go. I can't live another day without you. We'll be together forever." After wandering through the forest for a bit, the girl eventually came out to the castle. It was probably set up in the settings that the protagonists should always return to the house. Back in her room, the girl put her new pet on her bed. Looking out the window, the girl saw the Duke, the butler, and a startled Ellie. "Why are you all gathered in one place?" Jaina asked. "Stay in your room. I'll be right up to you." Looking angrily from behind his back, Theodore said. "God, his look was so scary. What am I supposed to do now? He's definitely mad at me," frightened the girl thought. Jaina was afraid that being angry the Duke would hurt her new pet, so she hid the animal in the bottom drawer of the dresser. "Jaina, we need to have a serious talk with you," said the Duke, who entered the room. "Please calm down and try not to get emotional," asked the girl. "I need to calm down? Do you realize how worried I was? Why you left the castle without saying a word to me? Did you hate me so you decided to run away?" "From now on, you can never leave this castle," exclaimed the Duke, squeezing the girl's hand painfully. "Your lordship, please calm down. You are frightening your consort." In an agitated voice, the butler said, "I'm sorry, I just got very nervous," said the Duke and let go of the girl's hand. Suddenly, a pitiful meow was heard. Opening the dresser drawer, the little critter climbed out. "I told you to be quiet," said the girl to the critter. "Why don't you explain to me how a dangerous beast came to be in our castle?" asked Theodore, clutching the beastie tightly. "Give him back to me. You're hurting him, aren't you? In all the time we've spent together, he hasn't hurt me in any way. He's not dangerous. I'll teach him to live with humans. He'll be my pet," the girl exclaimed and held the beast tightly to her. "You think that when he grows up, he will easily obey you. Please turn off your selfishness and look at things with a sober mind," asked Theodore. "I forbid you to take this beast from me. Have I become an inmate in some prison? I'm technically the mistress of this castle, too, but I'm still not allowed to do anything on my own," Jaina exclaimed. "I can't sleep as much as I want. I am forced to study every now and then. For me, Every day is just about following a set routine. I'm not even allowed to leave my pet behind. It's starting to feel like you really do treat me like a prisoner instead of your wife. Jaina, you misunderstand everything. It's not like that. You have more than just a pet in your hands. It really could suddenly attack you at one point, said Theodore to the girl. Jaina asked Theodore to leave her room. She didn't want to talk to him anymore. Sir, and what do you plan to do with this beast? His butler Homer asked the Duke. Theodore asked the butler to prepare a carriage for the trip to the city. This has gone completely differently than I wanted it to. Instead of making Theo not worry unnecessarily, I only made him angry. But for the sake of protecting a cute beast like you, it was worth it. In a sad voice, Jaina muttered, I'm sorry I scared you. You're so cute and fluffy like a ball of cotton candy. I need to think of a proper name for you. I'm going to call you Watame, which means cotton candy. However, Theodore is right after all. No matter how cute you are, you can't be raised in the castle. I said so many horrible things to Theodore for nothing. He was just worried about me, and I didn't give it much thought. Arriving at the market square, Theodore's first order of business was to go to the hardware store. There, he bought a long, sturdy chain. Jaina went in search of Theodore. Ellie told her that the Duke had gone into town and would be back later that evening. There, I got my way after all. Everything is ruined. What am I supposed to do now? Can I go back to the save point and start over? The real Jaina certainly wouldn't do anything so audacious. Frightened, the girl thought. I can't predict now how events will unfold next. What if Theodore wants to divorce me? Or will he lock me in a dungeon and torture me for the rest of my days? Either way, I need to wait for his return. The pet climbed into the girl's arms and curled up. Watame, when Theo returns, don't give the appearance of being afraid of him. Try to greet him cheerfully. He's not going to start getting angry at a smiling brute right away, is he? Seeing the Duke's carriage approaching from the window, Jaina rushed joyfully toward him. Suddenly, the girl stopped abruptly. She saw a long, strong chain in the Duke's hands. Theodore, let's not make any hasty decisions. Let's just talk to you first, suggested Jaina in a frightened voice. What are we going to talk to you about? You told me yourself that you don't want to hang out with me anymore, replied Theodore. I'm sorry, I said some things to you without thinking. The girl started to justify herself. What are you apologizing for? I'm the one who should be apologizing to you for not being able to understand your feelings, said Theodore to the girl. But there is no need to worry anymore. I have bought something that will solve our problem. The Duke showed the girl a collar with a long chain. I used to want Theodore to chain me up and spoon-feed me like he did in the novella and in the game, but I'm not ready for that at the moment. Besides, it's too early for the finale. Seeing the chain, Jaina was very scared. It'll be a little uncomfortable at first, but you'll get used to it eventually. So come here. You shouldn't be stymied, said the Duke and pulled the girl's hands towards him. Duke put a collar around the beast's neck. This collar is exclusively for monsters. If you put it on a beast, it won't even be able to use half of its natural strength. This is the most effective collar I've been able to find, narrated the Duke. I apologize for leaving without saying anything to you. I needed some time to cool down. I had to buy this collar for safety's sake. I hope you understand my feelings and agree with my decision. I'm sorry. I took my anger out on you without even figuring out how you felt, said Jaina, wiping away the tears that protruded in her eyes. The girl hadn't expected the Duke to show her such concern. Instead of getting rid of the beast, you went to town and bought a thing to help stop it. And here I thought you were completely disappointed in me. That's not true. No matter what happens, I will never turn my back on you, said Theodore and hugged the girl tightly. My true feelings for Theo have started to show. It's definitely going to be okay now, Jaina thought to herself and sobbed bitterly. That's it. Have you calmed down? You cried so much you're swollen now. I figured if you don't like it, you don't have to learn everything. Also, you can sleep as much as you want, said Theodore, taking the girl's hand. I do have one thing to ask of you, though. Please don't hate me. Can I hate someone who loves me so much? Said the girl and touched Theodore's face. Theodore drew the girl to him and kissed her gently on the lips. Without even realizing it, I have fallen head over heels in love with Theodore. Now I can't imagine my life without him, Jaina thought to herself. Theodore suggested that the girl discuss the situation. I don't mind you keeping the monster, but you will have to fulfill 3 conditions. First, you are not allowed to take his collar off. Second, when you go out for a walk with him, always take someone to accompany you. Third, never jump out of a window again. Do you agree to my terms? Asked the Duke, and the girl immediately nodded. A few days passed. Life in the castle began to settle down. Everyone got used to Jaina's new pet. Since the chain was too heavy, the girl replaced it with a leather leash. Ellie rejoiced every day as the reconstruction of the castle came to an end. Everything looked elegant and expensive. The number of staff had increased as well. It seemed as if the castle had been reborn. Since the day Theodore stopped forcing the girl to study, she began to enjoy the freedom she had been given. She slept as much as she wanted and read only the books she liked. Ellie entered Jaina's room and announced that the girl had a visitor. It is an honor to meet you, Jaina. My name is Angeli, and from now on I will be in charge of all your costumes. His lordship has decided to do this in secret from you, said Allie to the surprised girl. Jaina decided to head to the training ground to thank the Duke for the gift. She didn't expect him to hire someone to take care of her closet. Seeing Theodore practicing, the girl was surprised and froze in place. Since Theodore was naked to the waist, Jaina was able to scrutinize his musculature. Theodore was beautifully built. Jaina, what are you doing here? Asked Theodore, noticing the girl. I came here to tell you something, replied Jaina. She was sorry that Theodore had noticed her so quickly. The girl wanted to watch his movements for a while longer. We have the owner of the clothing store you and I visited earlier coming to the castle. Why did you decide to hire her as the person in charge of my clothes? Jaina asked. But you told me yourself that day that you liked her dresses and wished you could buy them a lot more often, replied Theodore. And you decided to make such a difficult decision because of one thing I said? Theo, you don't have to take everything I say seriously. I often speak in jest. What if I had said I wanted to become an empress? What would you do then? Of course, it would take some time, but I would help you achieve that goal. After thinking for a bit, Theodore replied, I really hope he was just joking, but because of the situation, a conclusion can be drawn. I should take my words more seriously. It turns out Theodore has absolutely no understanding of humor, Jaina thought to herself. Looking at the joyfully smiling Theodore, the girl realized that the Duke is a little naive, kind, and loyal. If she continued to do the right thing, she would get everything she wanted. Her life would be a paradise.